you're here again. We intend to do this forever going on. One of the things about the Convention Visitors Commission is to do this way a long, long time. A lot of folks really don't know what it is that convention does. They don't know how active they are. They don't know the kind of advertising that we do. That's what we're going to show you tonight, all the things we do, how we raise our money, and how we spend that money. It really is marvelous, and Courtney's going to share some numbers with you of likes and contacts and social media. Social media has just changed life for all of us in any kind of marketing whatsoever. Doug and I are old enough, we've been on the convention long enough, remember the days when we still had newspapers and we would put coupons in the newspapers and ask people to cut them out, so we had to try to track where they came from. We knew what that particular coupon said in that particular paper, so we would know where they came from. And those days are long gone. Now it's amazing. They can tell you, Courtney will tell you, not only where they came from, but it's male, female, how old, how many kids you got, what your money range is, and what kind of things you like, what you don't like, how many seconds you spend on a web page before you switch to another web page. Just amazing stuff. So I'm glad I thought of all that, get all that done. Okay, so do that kind of thing. So we're not going to spend much time with me. Diane Barlow cannot be here tonight, so we're going to go ahead and talk about her part first, about the money stuff. Before we do though, let's just have the members introduce themselves real quickly. I can do it, but I missed some, but I can start. Courtney, why don't you go ahead and start? Tell people who you are and what you do.
Yes, so I'm Courtney. I'm the social media chair, so I manage the social media for Parke County.
Courtney cooks, married to Austin Cook. We all have our burdens to bear, but she's doing okay with that. Let's just go down this row, and whoever's in the none there, around here, on the commission, not only a couple of us. John?
Yeah.
John Bonomo.
John Bonomo.
Jen Kersey. I am Rusty Root Co. on the square.
Did I miss anybody else?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm Patty Crowley, the new owner for the old gel and drum tank.
well, super. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Yep. All right. Well, let's just go ahead and get into this stuff, and we'll answer what questions you may have at any time. If you have a question, just raise your hand and ask. And we got some chairs, lady here, wherever you need. So, I don't tend to read these things to you, but we will point some highlights to you. So we talked about a while ago, we are the marketing entity for all things that happen in Parke County associated to the countywide things. We're not Main Street, and we are not Parke County Incorporated, but we do all the advertising. A lot of people think that we spend all our time, the whole county spends all this time advertising the Covered Bridge Festival and maybe the Maple Fair, but that's just not the way it is. In fact, we really spend most of our time trying to get things all year round, to get people to come see what we have all year round. Every festival we participate in, we partner with any festival that has anything going on that wants brochures or assistance with what they do. We give up to $1,000 for every festival, regardless of what size it may be. We split that 50%, so we will pay half of your advertising cost up to $1,000 per. So we do that lots of times all year round. And we contribute money to try to keep our assets up. The main thing we contribute to is covered bridge repair. Of course, the county has funds for county bridge repair. We have a repair fund. But there are special things that come up. Some years we have done the mowing around the covered bridges before Covered Bridge Festival comes along. We have some bridges now that have been adopted by entities. Rocky Ford Bridge, by the way, for example, has been adopted by the Belmore Fire Department. They did that. Some people take care of the Neat Bridge down on the way to Richmond. So we try to partner with those all we can. We usually look for a covered bridge which might need a new siding, new painting, a new roof. We just did the Sim Smith Bridge last year with a new roof. This year we're doing the Mecca Bridge. Mecca's becoming very active with some of the things that they're doing with the schoolhouse and things. We always want to encourage any kind of new activity that anyone's trying to do to promote Parke County to the rest of the state and the rest of the region. So that was a big job. That's going to be a siding. We're going to completely re-side and repaint it. And that's about a $34,000 job. We're going to split that with the highway department. So Randy from the highway department volunteered to pay half. We're going to pay the other half. We're going to get that done this summer. So by the time their things begin to happen at Mecca and Covered Bridge Festival comes along, it will have a brand new side. It'll be board and batten. So we always try to go back to what it should have been. It and maybe one of our other bridges is shiplap, and they wouldn't have been shiplap anyway. They would have been board and batten like everything else would have been board and batten in those days. So we're going back to board and batten. We don't paint them anymore. We do what we did when we rebuilt the Bridgeton Bridge after the fire, and that is we use a stain on it now, so that stain will never chip. You never have to scrape all that off. You don't have the ugly looking chipping coming off. peeling coming off. It's just a matter, it will fade over time, and when it fades, you don't have to do anything to it, but just apply new over it. You may have to power wash it, but most of the time not even that, just do it over the top again. So we're trying to make those the best we can. We're going back to metal. We all know that we like the way that wood shingles look. Wood shingles, they would not have put wood shingles on, they would have been metal at the time when they made these. And now we've gone back to the metal on every bridge that we're redoing as well. So we're getting the old pictures. We're trying to put the windows back in the same place the windows were, because over the years with the siding, those have been changed for a lot of bridges. So there's a lot of things going on that we do to try to maintain those. We do market the events and everything as they come. And the whole goal of this is to get people to come to the county, spend the night. Spend the night, spend the time to go to your shops, go to your restaurants, stay in your hotels. In fact, that hotel occupancy is what drives us. The only source. There are no local county tax dollars that support what we do. Every dime that we get, but make, comes from an innkeeper's tax. An innkeeper's tax is a tax charge on top of whatever your normal room rate would be, and that's what funds us. And our budget for the year now is $165,000. Some days, some years get more than that, but that's typically what we budget for. So anything else we need to know? Really important here. Oh, I should introduce John. John Martin here is with Parke Without Reverse, and I welcome him to every meeting that we have, because one of the really tough things that I've seen in my 20 years as commissioner is in the beginning, it was hard to get people to come to meetings, of course, because it didn't matter if you had them during the day, if you had them in the morning, you had them, it didn't matter. You're going to get different bunches come, but everybody can't come, so everybody's got something. So by having this, we're not streaming live yet, we are getting close to streaming live. We've approved the camera to do that with, but he records everything is posted on the internet. You can find every meeting, every council meeting, every commissioner meeting. He's going to start coming and doing these CDC meetings. He's here tonight doing this one for us. And so I think he even do the town board meetings, I think, for other towns around. So there is no reason, if you're interested in what's happening in the town and in the county, there really is no reason that you can't sit and see a real live action thing right in front of you. Maybe a day after or 2 days after, but it's really on your schedule now. You can see the entire process. So there's complete transparency, nothing's ever hidden. And so we meet always the last Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock. We're meeting here now. We used to meet in the courthouse in the jury room, but this works out much better for us because our tech person here has access to all these techie things that we need to be doing. He's showing us what we have. It's got good parking, it's convenient command, so this is where. And everyone is welcome to every meeting anytime, so please take part in that. Okay. So we're going to go through the list of the expenditures that we done and the stuff that the treasurer does. Diane Martlow is the treasurer, has been for a long time. She came down with flu today, so she didn't want to infect all of us, which I'm thankful for, and so she could not make it tonight. She asked me to go through these things, so I'll be glad to. I won't be able to go too much in detail, but this kind of shows you where we are. Our relationship with Parke County Incorporated, so you know, Parke County Incorporated for years and years was, we are the Convention and Visitors Commission, which means we handle all of the dollars, all the decisions made, as far as what marketing we will do. The Parke County Incorporated was the Convention and Visitors Bureau, which meant they were the out front person to represent the wishes and the actions and the expenditures of the commission. And so that's what PCI does for us. They have their own thing they do. They advertise basically the festival and the April Fair, and they generate the funds from those activities. But we also hire them to do our work as well, keep a website up and do those kinds of things. So we pay them now. It's a monthly rate. In the past, Kathy Hartwriter and I had worked out a plan on how we could pay them, how we could get funds going into them, because we couldn't use tax dollars to do that. Parke County Incorporated had always raised their funds from the activities. But in case you didn't know, Covered Bridge Festival, as it is today, no one pays, other than Cherry's Merchant License, which we got passed several years ago, which is just a fee that people pay to set up their business in a location different than the one that they have on their retail merchant certificate. That source of money creates a pool of about $150,000, $160,000 to help pay for all the expenses that we can of the Covered Bridge Festival. But other than that, the only people now that pay money to PCI for setting up and doing are the people on the square. The square bidders pay a per foot space fee. And so that is the only place of any vendors in the county that generates any money directly for Parke County Incorporated. So the vendors on the square for all these years, that's where that comes from. Used to be years and years ago, you had to be a member of Parke County Incorporated. You were expected to pay a percentage of your income, and that just didn't work out well at all. So it just didn't work. So this is a new way of doing it, and it's working well. So let's just go through this while we have. This just shows you the places that we spend our money. These are the places that we typically spend our money. And so my social media management, graphic design, Courtney does that work for us. We advertise in the Indiana Department of Natural Resources as a guide, recreation guide, Travel Indiana. We have hiring tourist service information to take our brochures that we create every 2 years, and they go to all the locations out on the interstate highways coming in from all directions to have those maps, and those you've all stopped at interstate rest stops. You know the map cases. That's what that is for. Indiana Department of Tourism, postage for the mailings from PCI, so we put money, we pay for all of that as well. Indiana Food Alliance is a new thing, and one of the big dogs of the Food Alliance is right here with Mecca Tavern, and that is one of their really prizes with the food that they serve, especially, I think it started with the Tenderloin tour, I think, when they first came through. And now people are really finding this place and finding this is you got to be going there to go there. You got to know it exists. And so if they didn't know it existed through the efforts of PCI and your own advertising, those types of things, and the Convention and Visitors Commission, you wouldn't know it's there, but it's going great. I love their shirt. If you've been in there, they've got ambiance, if that's a good word for it. The floors are a little rolly, and their little slogan is, we're the oldest tavern in Parke County, we have the floors to prove it. So I don't know how many times that place has been flooded over the years, down to the low spot, but lots of times. So Indiana Foodway Alliance, that's what it does. So anybody who has a regular, full-time, open restaurant is invited to participate in the Indiana Food Alliance, and they advertise as well. Local match for publication, Parke County Sentinel, of course. I mean, I don't know what we would do without the Sentinel. I mean, I know newspapers are dying all over every place, but the Sentinel hangs in there, and I really appreciate what they do for us. Publishing, Indiana Tourism Association, NES Festival Association. Doug is an officer and has been for a long time. What are you with the Indiana State Festival Association?
The State Association. I'm also driver for ISFA 1, our 50th anniversary promotional vehicle you see out in the parking lot.
Okay. I saw it parked over at,
Yeah.
is that a repairs or a parking space?
Getting a new start.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. We reimburse our people who go to represent us to shows. We've had some in the past. In fact, Deborah has done some shows in the past, gone to Chicago for shows there. Shows in Indianapolis, people would volunteer to go and set up booths, or if they want to go promote their business, we've also supported that. So we're active in those things as well. This is just our web posting and Indiana travel map. The videography, they made the videos for us. If you can see, you're going to see some of those tonight, I think. Then covered bridge upkeep, Midwest printing, and photo fees, and once in a while we have to pay them. So our total expenses for 2021 last year were $155,237.97. That's how much money CVC spent purely on marketing and advertising for the people who have something to offer in Parke County. No one, of course, on the board gets a dime, and I wouldn't expect anybody to think that. In case you were wondering, that's all volunteers who do this. They're all either town appointees or they are county employees. We have a mix of both. Okay.
Joe, there's a question over here.
Yes.
I'm sorry, maybe it's just my eyesight. I couldn't read any of it. Could you just give us like the top 5?
We're going to do that
Got
later.
it. Actually, we have a pretty good thing right here to show this. Let's go back this first. This pie chart will show where we spent most of that money. So if you go to the bigger squares, the biggest one here is PCI. We paid them about $23,000 last year to do the work for the bureau work, and that was about 18% of our budget. Over here, Indiana Office of Tourism and Development paid them $22,900 for the things that they do. This is the Indiana State Festival Association. We advertise in all of their materials that they promote around the county. This is the recreation guide from Indiana IDNR Department of Natural Resources. That's $15,000. Social media, we spend about $10,000 having that work done. And this is our travel map. So the biggest things we do are direct marketing to people who want information about what we do. Indiana Office of Tourism, Indiana Travel Map, Indiana State Festival Association, Parke County Incorporated, and the Department of Natural Resources Travel Guide. This is Travel Indiana magazine right here. To answer your question? Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you bet. All right, so we get a percent. What percent are we at?
5%.
Is that the max?
That's the
I
max.
thought it was. We've been at the max since the beginning, 5%. So whatever your room cost is at a hotel, including the turkey run, of course, is 5%. So these, too small, too quick to go over. This is what we go over every month when we have our meetings. We just go through how much money we came in, And we have to have two separate because one is actually what the receipts were for the month, but then it takes a couple of months before we actually get the check from the auditor's office and the treasurer to get us paid. This shows what we are and where we are. So right now we're at about $136,000. We right now in 2021 have had $161,000 coming in. So our budget at $163,000 actually received to us, and that's right at our budget. Our budget $165,000, and we still have a good ways to go yet. Okay. And marketing strategy. So, Doug Whiteside's been marketing with Convention Business Commission for a long time, so.
Every year, but 2 years since 1995, to be factual. Basically, the president appoints, like Courtney is appointed by President Meese, as I am appointed as marketing chairman. So every president, but one that owned the Motel Forest way back when, for some of you old folks, when he became president, he wanted to go a different direction. And other than that, since 1995, I'm the only original commission member since 1995. Again, there's 9 of us appointed by the county commissioners and 2 by the town of Rockville. Okay, our marketing strategy has basically been, and we've been a little divergent. When you saw that $165,000 budget last year, we only spent $150, some of that, because some of the things that we had opted and committed to do, they didn't go to print. Like some of the projects we had committed to and signed contracts for due to COVID just didn't happen. In addition to that, if we go back to that slide, I want to point out 2 things that have happened publicly in the last 6 months that have never happened. So we go back 2 slides on when we get you'll notice, one more, next one, the tax collection, next one. Right here. Okay, something that's happened in the last 6 months for the commission. It's never happened since we started in 1995. You'll see we had 3 months in here. We had 0, we had 0, we had 0. That means we did not get money from the treasurer to the auditor that had come religiously every month since we started in 1995 still then. And so last year we looked to see that we collected $167,728.83. We got no monies in August that did come in September, and no monies in December that then came up in January when we got $62,000 in 1 month, which was more than we got in 6 months in 1995 when we collected the tax for 5 months, for 6 months when we first started. So this year, if we would have taken half of what we believe was ours in January, put it down here, that would have put us at $193,000, and our previous best year was in 2017 at $175,000. So what that tells us is last year was not just a record year for travel and overnight stays in Parke County, but it was a huge, huge, huge success. That means this year, as though we have a $165,000 budget, we have a huge surplus that we're sitting on because we're charged by the county council to always have $60,000 in reserve, and right now we're running at about $163,000. Recognizing that everything that we do in 2021 was voted upon for the most part in 2020. So what we're doing right now in 2022, you'll see the publications in 2023, okay?
You might notice that during the COVID year, you expect revenues to be down, ours were not. Parke County was in a good location.
We were down 6% when across the state we were down about 50-some%. In Lake County, they were down 80-some% in revenues collections. Like in Lake County, they basically got rid of 2/3 of their staff. We are blessed to have PCI as a partner. We pay them now $2,000 a month, and they really do a lot of our marketing efforts. We make the policy, and they do the work. They're the feet on the ground. Our strategy increasingly in the last 3 years, when Brad Buchanan was here the last time we had one of these annual meetings, again, we had about 25,000 followers on our Facebook, and we really have put an emphasis in our contracts with Courtney. The commission each month will be next week. We will see a 3 or 4 page synopsis of what she believes as our agency thinks we should be doing, and then the commission will approve that or not approve that. And then we move forward on that, and then this is all automatic that you see. And that's how we've gone in 3 years from about 25,000 followers on Facebook to a little bit over 50,000. Remember, as you see this a little bit later, being 55,000 puts us only behind in the state of Indiana. The state of Indiana, visit Indy, and then it's the Parke County. We're ahead of Brown, we're ahead of Lake, we're ahead of Allen. All these folks that have paid staff, and they have staffs at the Convention Bureau office of 5 or 10, or if you go up to Lake County, 20. Our Facebook followers, and now with the addition of John Bonobo on the Innkeepers Tax Commission, as a new commission members, we voted in December to try TikTok for 6 months, and implemented that. After just a few months, we're already up to
Nearly 2,000.
nearly 2,000 followers. So there's no doubt, though we've done with Courtney a 6-month contract at the urging of our new commission member, John, there's no doubt we're going to stay on TikTok. We've had 2 that went pretty viral. So we basically, Courtney responds to messages collaboratively with PCI. Again, we go online, we're not sending out as many brochures as we used to because the number of folks, because our website is a little bit smarter, they can download the map, there's places they can download those things in print and then do it on their own, like for the guided covered bridge routes. So we have all the turn by turns. So basically we try to be more aggressive in everything that we've done on Facebook and clearly it's shown. Go to the next one. The email marketing strategy has basically been to drive attendance at our small rural events in addition to the Covered Bridge Festival, all right? There's no doubt that what we tried to do was to help grow the small events that we have, and we have about 23 events that we recognize in the county at the CVC that we buy their memberships in the festival guide, and we do social media to reinforce, to try to do these things. Recognizing that some of the smaller festivals in our county may only attract 2 or 3 or 4,000 people, if we can get those 2 or 3 or 4,000 people each to come and spend $20 or $30, that is a huge economic impact in our smaller rural communities, without saying. That has been basically our thing. Our print publications are Visit Indiana. I say Visit Indy, which is the state thing. We buy the online version. Almost everything that we do in print also has an online version, all right? With the state travel office, that is Visit Indiana. We're the premier sponsor for fall festivals. Obviously, we're the state's largest. We were not the state's largest in 1995 before we had the Innkeepers Tax Commission. I want to remind folks, we were not in the top 10 in attendance in 1995. Okay, that's a fact. I mean, everybody was bigger than what we have become, in part due to 2 principles with the Innkeepers Tax. We made a determination that every print ad that we have done, almost exclusively, if it's a full page, you will see a small part of it that's dedicated to reminding folks that we are the Parke County Covered Bridge Festival. And by doing that with the dates over now more than 25 years, now in the last 10 years, we are the preeminent festival. We are bigger than the Indiana State Fair. We're twice as big as the 500 Festival Parade. We're bigger than the Three Rivers Festival, Harvest Homecoming, and or anything in northern Indiana like the Marshall County Blueberry Festival. We go back 15, 20 years ago, all of those were substantially larger than we were on attendance that was recognized by the state. Other major publications that we do are the Travel Guide. Again, we're the back cover of the Travel Guide for the last 2 years. Travel Indiana is a private for-profit publication. We have been a quarterly advertiser every year since about 1999 when they first started. We've only missed 1 issue, and they've had 2 issues where they did not publish. Again, we have been in Discover Central Illinois since 1995. This year, again, it's the 22 version that was out there. You'll see a 3-page spread that highlights Parke County. We also, for the first time since 1995, it says Parke County, Indiana on the cover, not just Parke County, and on the inside with the Illinois map. Now they show Parke County in Indiana with 36, with 41 connected to 74, which is a major avenue to get people to turn around from Illinois. We have been the back cover of the Indiana Red Guide. We pay for 13 memberships in the Indiana Foodways Alliance, as Jim had talked about. That would be like the Becca Tavern. It's any, what I would call non-chain, non-commercially owned, year-round operation with a couple asterisks. All right, so if you're locally owned and you're in Parke County and you serve food, we pay for your membership. We also sponsor 2 trails. We sponsor the barbecue trail and the tenderloin trail. And I told Pam the other day that the thing that was surprised all of us about the Food Alliance is that we have 13 members, and we're very proud of that. We sponsor 2 of the about 25 trails that are throughout the state. Again, the Foodways Alliance is like the Festivals Association. It's a membership organization that does a partnership with the state. Okay, the #1 rated, and I bet somebody, nobody gets it, the #1 rated food establishment in Parke County with the Indiana Food Allowance is in Montezuma, Indiana, the Tasty Freeze. Okay, all right. The Tasty Freeze, basically, if you go up to the window and you look at the top window, I was just there last week. At the top says, "We're a member of Indiana Foodways Alliance." You can take the picture, send it in, and you get to rate them. They are the #1 rated, and they last year bought 500 little glass containers that they served those in, and they sold those, which are like $9, if I'm not wrong, and she sold all of those in less than 6 weeks, thanks to our partnership with Foodways Alliance. Because we all know we couldn't sell 500 ice creams in Montezuma at $9 if it wasn't for visitors. I think we'll all agree to that, right? And I think Pam will attest, and I know the 36 Saloon has been on our Tenderloin Dine, and we have 4 representative restaurants that are on the Tenderloin Trail: the Turkey Run Gas and Grill, the 36 Saloon, the Mecca Tavern, and who's the 4th that serves tenderloins? The Tasty Freeze, that's right, Pam. And see, that's what people don't expect, is that we locals don't think of the Tasty Freeze as having an award-winning tenderloin. And it's the ice cream that does it, is what the Food Lines people, they get unbelievable ratings on ice cream compared to the other ice cream places throughout the state. We also, we have the Parke County Sentinel, which is a statewide publication that we do with the Sentinel. We advertise in all the smaller newspapers in Indiana for the Maple Fair, the Covered Bridge Festival, and the Christmas event. And that's a 2-column, 2-thing ad that we do through the Sentinel. And that would be the major print pieces. We're going to show you some examples of some things that we changed. Go back. This is a little bit of the new branding that we implemented last year. We did, again, we still have the dominant image. We still are using our logo, which highlights the Bridgeton Mill and the Bridgeton Covered Bridge that we have now had for a little bit over 20 years as our iconic image. We don't change that. When you look at the pictures that we use, we try to think about what publication we're marketing to and what would appeal to them. So in this one this is one of the DNR publications. Again, it's got the Montezuma Railroad Bridge, which is a DNR project, Raccoon Lake, Rockville Lake Park, the Covered Bridge Festival, a picture of ice cream for food, turkey run and shades with a dominant picture of the Bridgeton Covered Bridge and Mill. We use the Bridgeton Covered Bridge and Mill not only because it's in our logo, because the State of Indiana Tourism Office likes to send that picture out of what they own the rights to. It's one of their favorite pictures to use of the state. It only makes sense that we would follow what the state's doing with their budget to reinforce that. All of the lodging listings, we still have lodging facilities in Parke County that don't have websites. We have always, unbeknownst and unlike most of the other CVBs and all the ads that you will see, we always list the phone numbers, and more recently, the last 3 years, we give symbols of what they do and what they offer. We have horse-friendly, pet-friendly, trails, fishing, and locked motorcycle parking. Now, we're probably the only commission in Indiana that talks about locked motorcycle parking. We know why that's important. We get a lot of cyclists that come to the county. Some of them want locked motorcycle parking. If you tell them they have it, they'll use it. Again, so we have had this key, and that's why we've done that. We also talk about fishing you have to be able to fish from steps from your place. Some people have ponds, most people are close by a water. So if you can walk to fishing, then you get the fishing symbol. Again, we have a lot of fishermen that come to Parke County. All right, move to the next one. Again, these are basically our 21 full-page recreation guide. We're on the back page there. And this is the 21 travel guide ad. We're on the back cover there. You'll see those are very similar. Again, on those, we list the Covered Bridge Festival. We have changed our logo and look for the Covered Bridge Festival for 2022. And we have been listing our attractions with phone numbers. Again, for some of those folks, the phone rings in large part because of what the commission has opted to do historically. More recently, we have stopped doing the attractions, and we put another photo in there. As you'll see some of our new ads that we're doing in 21 for 22. We're still evaluating if that's a smart move or not. Okay, here's the Indiana Festival Guide. We're one of 2 festivals in Indiana, the Covered Bridge Festival and the Kiwanis Loon Festival. They're in the Festival Guide with a full-page ad. I want to remind everyone tonight, it's a very special year. It's the 50th anniversary of the State Festivals Association. They have 8 members that were founding, and 2 of those were in Parke County. The Parke County Maple Fair and the Parke County Covered Bridge Festival were 2 of the 8 founding members of the association 50 years ago. And they're featured on the front of ISFA 1 for what we're calling the 2021 version. And they will be there again next year as well for the 2023 version. Again, this is a rec guide. Again, here's the new logo for the Parke County Covered Bridge Festival. You notice I said the Parke County Covered Bridge Festival a lot, and we'll go about that a little bit later. We have been using basically one of a couple photos for our food photo that you will see over time. Here we still listed the attractions. And again, the other thing we've been focusing on, because the state park has done well, And that increase that you saw in the innkeeper's tax has been caused in large part by the room rate increase and the occupancy increase at the Turkey Run Inn. So we've increasingly focused on Turkey Run State Park and the 4 or 5 smaller properties that surround the park, because that's where our new revenues that have come from the Turkey Run Inn in the off-season. Again, this is a new thing. We had talked about Discover Illinois. Again, this is what we decided to do in 21, but you're seeing it now in 2022. So we opted to do a 3-page spread in Discover Illinois, which is a state publication for the state of Illinois travel, and we're one of the only non-Illinois entities allowed to advertise in it. We've always been a major advertiser since 1995. It started when we had a lot of folks that went to Tuscola. Again, Tuscola at the Outlaw Mall, when it was booming, they had huge weekends in October, and we helped fuel that traffic going to the west. And that's how we got in. The original was back in 1995, thanks to the Tuscola Outlet Mall. Again, you'll see here the iconic image of the brick streets here. Again, our lodging listing and our attractions are here. And then we basically have focused on 3 state parks, 31 covered bridges, great fishing, and family fun attractions, always recognizing our phone number, our website, and we also use email often to PCI. The map distribution. This is probably surprising. If I cover up the answers, most people can't tell me where the top map distribution places are in Parke County, but we'll show them. They are at PCI, at the Bridgeton Mill, in Fountain Trust, at Turkey Run Inn, and at the Rockville IGA. And you don't think just next door that both the bank has a little bitty brochure rack, and right next out to the thing we have the big rack, which is that, and we go through as many of that as we go through either at Bridgeton or at Turkey Run Inn, which you would think both of those would be. People forget that 17,000 people a week on average walk through the IGA. And by having 2 racks, we know that it makes no sense why people grab them out of the bank rack, but don't grab them out of the rack in the vestibule. The damnedest thing, and I've been there for a long time, I still don't understand why both racks work so well. Also, the page routes that we do are on I-74 from Spring Creek to Cincinnati. I-65, we just re-added again. We had in the early years from I-65 to Lake County. We do the Metro Indianapolis, I-70 from Richmond to Terre Haute. We do the IDD online request partnership with Putnam County. That means you can get a brochure, we get the labels, we do this jointly with Putnam County. They get a set of labels, we get a set of labels, and PCI mail those out. That's through the state. Also, we have a free group distribution, and if anybody lets me know, we've got 4 that I will get delivered here tomorrow. If you'd like a brochure rack at your business, we have the big ones like they have at the IGA, and we have 2 smaller ones as well. Again, brochures are what the locals, when they're already here, the brochure and the new brochure that we have developed here last November and went to print with about 15,000. We'll go to print again next Tuesday's meeting. We'll approve any corrections to that, and that will be enough to get us through the end of the year through next January. Okay, we added about another 10 or 12 businesses that we just added, and we took 2 off and added 10 or 12, wasn't it? And basically to get added to the map, all you have to do is to share with us that you want to be added. Since the most recent map went out, we had just one that sent me an email and said that we want to get added. The commission will decide whether they get added or not. The one that I got an email on was not by the business owner, though I met with him earlier this week, was Pearson Sports in Marshall. And if you know them, they do a lot of hunting and fishing. And we had a visitor that said, hey, why are they not on the map? I'll take it to the commission next Tuesday. We'll decide if we added them or not. If we think it's a visitor-friendly, visitor-related businesses, that's how we've added those. Okay? The brand identity is consistently of everything about Parke County. And I'll give $20 if anybody can tell me why I think the Parke County Covered Bridge Festival. If you don't say Parke County Covered Bridge Festival, do you realize when you say the words Covered Bridge Festival, you're feeding the Matthews Covered Bridge Festival, you're feeding the Rowan Covered Bridge Festival, you're feeding the Covered Bridge Festival in Kokomo. Okay? You're feeding the Covered Bridge that's on the golf course in Columbus. I cannot stress, if anything you do tonight, if you think anything about Parke County, why would you not always say we are the Parke County Covered Bridge Festival? Because if you don't, and you go out and you put Covered Bridge Festival, just that, look at everybody else that pops up. So if you're out saying, hey, come to the Covered Bridge Festival, you're not helping Parke County. it has to be the Parke County Covered Bridge Festival. It's Parke County, that is our brand. There's only one other county in the state that brands itself by the county, and that's Brown County. And what we did the last 2 years, and most people think what the pandemic did for Parke County and in the fall, was if you went to someplace in the fall in Indiana, you went to Brown County. For the first time 2 years ago, and last year we saw in the New York Times, they did a fall special in Indiana, and they said, come to Parke County, Indiana's premier fall destination. Well, when it came out, we all cheered, we were all pretty excited. That also showed our partnership with the state, because we bought the backside of the Indiana Travel Guide. Now, when we buy the backside of the travel guide, that travel guide goes out to media people, they think we're bigger than we really are. They go to our Facebook page, thanks to Courtney and Brad, and we got 50-some thousand followers. They say, hey, they're bigger than Brown County, they're bigger than Lake County, they're bigger than Evansville and Allen County. They don't realize we're a population of 22,000, because our brand image is bigger than what we really are, because as you saw for our $156,000 that we get, we're spending almost $110,000, $115,000 of that on direct advertising, either online or in print. So we don't buy a lot of things, but what we do buy, we try to buy big. And as I say in America, size is everything. If you play with the big boys and you look like a big boy, when you're looking and you don't know, it looks pretty dang good. All right, our major accomplishments will be, social media will be Courtney. I remind folks that Courtney's under contract with us, so she's a commission member. And that has not really affected us. She doesn't vote on anything when it comes to that. And I challenge everyone, as Courtney knows, we've asked other people to put in things for other social media people to come forward. We're going to always give a preference to Parke County, and no one else will come and give us basically a partition to do the work. Because again, the rest of us are true volunteers. Courtney's a volunteer as well. We get a heck of a discount on that. And if you would like to challenge that, because I know I get that in my face sometimes as marketing chairman, well, you're using so-and-so, you're doing so-and-so. I said, come to a commission meeting. Jim's our president. The reality is, as Courtney knows, and the commission members here that are aware, last year, every vote that we had but one, had every commission member vote yes, but when we had one vote where Diane and I voted no, we all voted by 92, and we moved on. Okay? So when you look at this, some people say, oh, Doug's the marketing chairman since 1995 for every year, but 2 years, it's what he once gets. It's just not true, that statement, because the work that Courtney and the other commission members, we wouldn't be TikToking if it wasn't for John Bonobo. That's a fair statement. Am I right, John? We wouldn't be TikToking, because John came as a new commission member and said we wanted to do that. Jim came the last 2 years, the commission members, and said we need to do a bigger emphasis on Rosedale and Strawberry Festival, didn't you? She sure did. And basically, if you went to the Strawberry Festival last year, Jim won't disagree with me, and nobody in here was their biggest Strawberry Festival ever, because we put a big emphasis on them, and we put a big emphasis on their image in the festival guide. And between the festival guide and the social media that Courtney did is what we hit a home run for in Rosedale. And at least Doug and Courtney and the commission all gets a big strawberry for the people of Rosedale for a great festival last year, right?
Yeah.
People also don't think about what we do through our smaller events. Like, they don't think about, we have one of the biggest rallies for Model Ts in Indiana. Yeah, it's out the fairgrounds. People in this room don't think it's the #1 festival and event destination in Parke County. It's not the Rockville Square, folks. It's the Parke County Fairgrounds. See, all of the bigger events are out there. Not just the county fair, not the Camping at Covered Bridge Festival. They got Maple Fair. They got the Tractor Drive.
Model Ts.
The Model Ts. That's already 5.
The
See, a lot of...
the campers that come out.
And the campers that come in from time to time, yes. But see, people think it's all about the square, and to Doug Weisheidt and marketing chairman, it's the county fairgrounds, because those are the 5 bigger events. Take out the Bridge Festival on the square, but when you think about the square, when you look at the events that are happening on the square, like Christmas and the tree lighting and some of the other events, and they forget that 25 years ago, if I would have stood up here, we had over 45 events in the county that were recognizable, and we're down to 19 now. Okay? It's exciting to see some new events come back, and it's exciting what we have on the horizon. And basically, the partnership that what Courtney and Brad have done the last 5 years with our social media has made a huge difference. And I give you the best example, and we had a new commission member, John was on the commission, he questions a little bit on the festival guide, Because the Eagles of Flight weekend, and Turkey Run in, and Turkey Run State Park, oh, it's not that big a deal. But if we can fill 76 rooms at full price, that's God sent it us in January. And in April, they have the women's wellness retreat. Again, the Turkey Run in will be full on a weekend. In April, we're never full. And it's just not the end. They fill out if they're open. We also combat, we have a lot of cabins and places like around Turkey Run that are not open. Some of them are opening this weekend. They haven't been open all winter. So we fight that we have 30-some locations to stay at, but some of those are only open basically from April, May until October. Okay, we'll turn it over to Courtney now on social media. Okay?
Okay, I'm gonna try to have as much energy as Doug, but I don't know if I can imagine. Okay, so we're gonna go over some accomplishments from 2021. Like Doug mentioned already, we had a really exciting accomplishment. We reached 50,000 Facebook page likes in 2021. So you can kind of see to where we started at in the beginning of 2021. So it was a huge increase throughout the year. On Facebook, we had a combined 2.7 million reach, mainly about posts that were based on the Parke County Covered Bridge Festival. So we reached an insane amount of people. Our Parke County Covered Bridge Festival posts, they always perform so well because we have so much beautiful imagery. So that was this very exciting statistic that we had to share. And then we also just had another post that just performed really well. Last year we had a lot of interest in winter travel specifically, and a lot of interest in winter at Turkey Run and Shade State Park. So this post specifically featuring December and winter activities had a 390,000 reach, so it performed extremely well for just a regular old Facebook post. We also were featured in Travel Indiana. We had a 3-day getaway blog post that was on their website that was taken from our website and put onto theirs. So it was exactly what content we wanted to be pushed out there, so it was great. We also had a really exciting video series that we completed. That was a kind of a big feat for our group to get professional videos. So now we can use these on marketing materials, online social media. They're already on YouTube and all of our major pages. And we could even, we have a lot of ideas for these. We even could see them being in TV ads, or the opportunity is limitless, really. But we're just so excited that we have them. And I will show you all some of these now. And hopefully, so the noise is gonna play from my computer, so it's not gonna be super loud, but you guys will get the gist. This one is about Raccoon Lake. Our videographer was awesome. We gave them a lot of guidance on very specific things that we wanted to make sure to cover. So, for example, in this one, we had fishing, boating, water sports. I mean, there was a lot of things that they had to cover. So, and we were very adamant that we wanted them to be done in the summer months. So it was, a lot of greenery and pretty skies and everything. So
I get chills every time I watch every video.
yay! Sorry. Okay, and now we have the turkey run. Is that too loud or is that okay for everybody? Okay. this one's super exciting because this was like, I think the first time we ever had an entire Covered Bridge Festival video, right, Doug?
Right,
And
it's the
it
first one
features
that I'm aware of
every
since
location.
1995 that has all 10 festival communities recognized in the video.
Yep. So again, our videographers were awesome. They were here an entire day for Bridge Festival, getting video all day long. So very pleased with the outcome.
This is the new logo that we've started using too.
Right there.
Last but not least, so this is kind of you're going to see a lot of clips you've already seen, but this is a compilation video, just a kind of general welcome to Parke County. Okay, what everyone think? Okay, so that's the end for the exciting stuff from 2021. Now I'm going to go into just some social media tips and advice, and the main reason we want to do this is because ultimately we're here to promote your business, like Doug said earlier, your businesses, your hotels, everything. So we need as much content from you all as possible. So we wanted to provide you all too with some social media guidance and photography guidance as well, just so that you can give us the best content so that we can ultimately promote you more. So first off, I just want to talk about how social media is vital to your business, similar to how important a website is. You absolutely need it to legitimize your yourself. Nearly all millennials read online reviews before selecting a business, and 89% trust those reviews, so it's extremely important. Something to think about in helping understand what social media platforms you should be on is understanding what your social media goals are, whether that's increase brand awareness, increase your sales, increase your community engagement, or increasing web traffic, which is also kind of similar to sales if you're doing e-commerce. Some key factors, and these will all make sense a little later, just to understand in your target audience, and it's going to help you understand what social media platform you should be using the most, are age, behaviors, gender, interest, locations, and then whether your business is B2C or B2B. Next, we like to tell people to, set realistic expectations and on your social media, because you're not gonna, go viral overnight unless you get really lucky. It takes time and it takes consistency. So normally I recommend choosing 2 to 3 social media platforms and really stay consistent on those 2 to 3. So for example, Parke County, we focused on Facebook and Instagram at the start, and now just recently with the help of John, we recently started TikTok as well, so we're growing our social media presence. And from early 2018 to now, we've amassed 6,000 Instagram followers and over 50,000 Facebook page likes. And again, like Doug mentioned earlier, I know 50,000 just sounds like a number, but when you put it next to a lot of other counties, it is substantial, and we're doing very well for a small county. A few of the major platforms are Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And they all have their place and their niche. So Facebook is great for ages 20 to 60, and you'll always want to make sure that it's a business page rather than a personal page. You want to post to your business page regularly, at least 4 to 6 times a week. Instagram is great for ages 15 to 35. It's a very visual platform, so you do have to use photos or videos. And also with Facebook, I highly recommend using photos and videos as well. On Instagram, it's recommended to post to your feed once a day and your stories multiple times a day. TikTok is great for ages 13 to 35. The videos are very short, informational videos, under 60 seconds. Videos can even be 5 seconds, or as short as you can possibly think they can be. It does have a stigma for being for younger kids, but it is growing massively, and there's a lot of millennials getting into it, and a lot of businesses getting into it as well. So it's a great thing to start thinking about, and it's never too late. Twitter, it's very much a news platform. It's great for ages 20 to 40, and it's also a lot of customer service related tweets as well. And Twitter is one platform that you can post 8 times a day, and it's not too much. So it's very different from the other platforms in the number of posts you can do daily. Pinterest is great for ages 25 to 45, and it makes sense for businesses that are DIY, craft, home decor, or any of those kinds of things. It's very much a search algorithm-based social media platform. LinkedIn is primarily for B2B, so business-to-business marketing, and it's ages 30 to 60. And lastly, YouTube, it's very wide range, and a lot of adults in the U.S. use YouTube, so it's a different video style content. And now, just the basics, setting up your social accounts, always make sure to have profile images and make sure your profile images are the same across all of your social media platforms. Have a really engaging 1 to 2 sentence bio that you use on everything that really tells what your business is and very to the point. Always link your website and include your contact information, and then always use consistent branding throughout so you create a visual image of what your brand is. Growing your following. So there's a few things to do in growing your following, and this is what we did for Parke County. This is what I do with other clients. So this has worked for us. One, consistency of posts. So like I mentioned in this earlier ones, following the guidelines on each social platform of how often to post. Using new tools that are being pushed. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with Instagram. Whenever they put Instagram Reels out, anyone who used that platform you know, they performed extremely well because they're basically the first ones to use it. So anytime a new feature is added, always use it if you're able to. Number 3, interacting with your followers and community. So, you know, commenting back and commenting with other people's accounts. Really, you know, you want to create friends on social media as well through your business page, and it shows that you really care about the interactions that you're receiving. The next 2 are pretty similar in partnering with individuals or businesses or influencers, especially those that are larger than yours. So when I mean that, I mean, you know, Parke County was, let's say they were featured on the Visit Indiana Instagram. That's kind of a similar instance. So they have more followers than us, and now their followers have seen our page, and you know, hopefully they're going to follow us as well. So the more cross promotion that you have on social media, the better. So the more you work with, you know, your fellow neighbors as well. Like I know Jen is great about Rusted Root Coast. She's great about, you know, shouting out her, you know, next door neighbors or whoever on the square if they have something going on. So the more of that you do, the better.
An example too, I just recently had Shelby Mahern at the Candle Bar, and she has a huge following. And so I made sure, and she gets it, she's business too, so she understands it's what we do to help one another. So I tagged her at Shelby Mahern, New York Times bestselling author, in my Candle Bar, and my post tripled my normal post because I tagged her. So then I got more followers because the people who are interested in her want to know what she's doing,
Yes.
and that leads them to me. So that's just an example. I mean, a perfect example of what she just said.
And then next, number 6, so having engaging and consistent photography. Social media, I mean, photography and videography it's becoming, I mean, almost absolutely necessary. You have to have it to have good social media, so it's very important. And then lastly, providing value to your followers and being a resource. So, you know, us for Parke County, a lot of times we're telling them, you know, about the best places to eat or stay, or a guide or something along those lines. So, you know, we're giving them information, and they then deem our page valuable. So, you know, if you're a winery, let's say, maybe you could teach them about wine, you know. So you want to engage with the community and teach them things as well. And then just a couple more, I'll be quick. The photography tips that I wanted to go over. Use natural lighting when possible. I always recommend being near a window. Using a newer phone or camera, and if you don't have one, possibly thinking about investing in one just because of how important social media is. And then when taking photos of people, avoid patterns or phrases on clothing, and then check the backgrounds before you take photos. And then lastly, try new angles, so from up really high or down low or flat lays. So just trying different angles for photography. And then if you sell any specific products, I highly, highly recommend backdrops for consistent product photography. And then also using props in photography like this. So this is a great example because otherwise if we didn't have, you know, caramels and brown sugar around it, we wouldn't know what that scent was. So having items around products to help people understand what it's about. And when I say backdrops, I mean these are like plastic boards that you can just set up anywhere, which is the best part because, you know, you have a mess in your kitchen, it doesn't matter, you can just set up a nice little setup and take your photos and get them listed online or whatever you need to do if you have products. And then lastly, you know, your option is always to hire a photographer if you don't feel comfortable, if you don't have time. You know, photographers are great if you give them guidance too, so tell them, you know, you really want to update your Google My Business, your social media, your Yelp, and ask them to get a nice variety of inside, outside my products, you know, all of my rooms, everything that, you know, have a really good list of what you want your photographer to take photos of. So, and again, the reason we go over this is because all businesses with a physical location are listed on our print map and on our website. So that's why I need you all to provide me with as many awesome photos as you can so I can put them on our website and promote you all and hopefully get more business to you. And you can always contact us with business updates and new photos and everything, or in any events, all of that.
Right, last year we updated the website extensively. Courtney's leadership again did that. Reminder, the videos that we did cost us about 10 grand. And you saw we were $10,000 under budget last year that we didn't spend. And that's helped create those reserves. So in the commission's mind, we have about $20,000 to embark upon this year, promoting this year and next year that we did not spend last year, just at the minimum. Whether or not we do a special bridge project or something like that, we have in that sense about that kind of money, assuming that we keep in the presence of everything that we've done. The only thing I know the commission's just lightly talked about was we've been on the back page of the travel guide, and that's pretty expensive. And we've talked about instead of being on the back page of the travel guide, we might do a 2-page spread like we did in the early 2000s, where we had 2 pages in the Indiana travel guide. Reminder that the festival guide is printed 500,000 times, the travel guide is printed 300,000 times, and the Indiana State Travel Map, which is a private one, is 100,000. And those were some of the bigger projects when we think about the print. And all of those also are all online and all have flipbooks online as well. And all of those are collaborative marketing partners with us. We don't get in the New York Times without us being a major travel partner with the state of Indiana, folks. I mean, that's why we've tried to leverage those 4 big things that you saw, along with the social media for our 5th big project. You take those 3 along with the covered bridge repair program, and that's about 120,000. Everything else we do is about 30 grand.
Okay.
And we're going to make this available here soon. That Courtney will be able to email everything we have there. We plan to release that to the media as well. And we want to thank the Sentinel for coming, and the Clintonian, and Parke Without Reverse, but also WTWO, which we're looking at a partnership here from WTWO. We're looking to do a partnership with Putnam County. We've been talking about this for a year. Last year, they did this big thing online with WTWO on the TV and also in the online, and that's why he was here tonight. We're still, I see we're like a bunch of Catholics like I am. We're discerning it. We're trying to decide if we want to get back in bed with Putnam County. Okay.
Okay, well, our hour is up and we shot for an hour. So
Thank you for coming.
we're pretty well there. Miss Tammy Weasel, I didn't see you sitting at the end if you were there when I introduced others, but she's also a board member. She's from Montana.
Celia.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys didn't raise your hands to say something. So Celia's been around a long time, Richmond, of course, and then at the 1878 house there, which is a long time as well. So.
She's our long-term secretary too.
And PCI folks, Roger's president of PCI, and of course Lisa and Valerie here from who do the work there for PCI. It's been a big changes going on at PCI. I'm glad to see that. Lots of conversation yet to happen. We're doing things in the right direction. Those of you who do marketing, know marketing, you just know marketing doesn't get any more professional and any slicker than what this body does. These guys do a great job. They bring all kinds of skills here, and I want you to know they work diligently and ongoing. So it's not just a matter of coming to a meeting once a month for a couple hours. It's all the outside stuff as well. So I appreciate all of you coming. If you got any questions, call us anytime. You got the information here from Courtney. If you didn't know Courtney was beyond what she does as far as this type of work, she and her husband Austin are the clay plant pottery people. If you didn't know that, they're the ones who have clay plant pottery as well. So, anybody got any questions before we go?
If we don't have your email address, if you'll get it to Courtney or I, then we'll put you on our mass email list. There's nothing magic about that. People ask to be on it, we put them on it. And if they move and don't ask us to take them off, we leave them on. That's
Plenty of brochures and examples out on the table of what these folks do. So help yourselves. Thanks for coming. We'll see you
Thank you.
as the year goes by.